Hello and welcome back to my world of stuff. My name is Paul Mount. If you are new here, if you have dropped on by because you've seen some reference to the recent Oasis shenanigans and you quite like the video, why not like and subscribe? Press that like button, press that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel even if you've got no intention of watching anything else on the channel, because it would be nice to get the subscribers moving again. They've sort of stalled again over the last few days, which is a bit frustrating. So if anybody new has wandered along here, why not press the subscribe button? It doesn't cost you anything. You don't even have to watch the videos. But if you do decide to subscribe and stick around, if you look back on my playlist, you might find things of interest. Not an enormous amount of musical things, but a lot of film reviews, TV reviews, books, out and about trips, collecting Blu-rays, unboxings, bits of news here and there. Plenty of Doctor Who if you're into the good Doctor's travel. So there's loads of stuff on this channel, but just subscribe. Thank you. Right, what I thought I would do a few days after the event is just talk about the Oasis debacle, as I think it's becoming known fairly generally around the country. It was announced about a week ago, after certain rumours had been bubbling for a day or so, that Oasis were on their way back, going to reform for a concert tour. And lo and behold, that happened. Some dates were announced the following day, a couple of dates in Cardiff, my hometown, and then in Manchester, obviously London, various other venues, quite a block of dates, I think Dublin and Ireland, block of dates, summer next year. Now my stance on Oasis is that I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Oasis to the extent that I passionately adored their music. I bought everything to do with them back in the day. I bought magazines and I bought everything. I did buy the albums. Now, everybody knows the first albums, Definitely Maybe, and the brilliant What's the Story, Morning Glory. And I even bought all the other albums. Be Here Now, Heathen Chemistry, and the other ones whose titles I can't remember, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. And I did buy them all because they were usually preceded by a decent single. And I just like the idea of a guitar band. I think especially these days when music is very much dominated by R&B and these slightly faceless American soul singers and rap music. And it's all very bland and very mechanical. Not much passion to it. And I think when you see a band on stage, proper band with guitars and drums, singer, creating the music, then there's something about that. And that sort of music is out of fashion these days, certainly as far as the charts are concerned. So anyway, I was a sort of a fan of Oasis in terms of the fact that, like everybody else, I loved the first two albums, and I found a lot to admire in some of the later stuff. I wasn't a fanatic in the true sense of the word, but I just enjoyed their music, and I enjoyed their slightly cartoonish swagger, particularly Liam with his unique vocal style and that sort of scowl that Noel always had and still has. I just think it's a bit of personality in an industry that doesn't have a lot, particularly these days. So that sort of thing is missed. So I was quite pleased to hear that they were going to come back for a tour. I suspect it was always going to happen. I mean, they fell out in time and time again throughout their careers. But then it all came to a head in 2009. They had a massive breakup. I think it was halfway through a tour, and vowed never to work with each other again. And they've both gone on to forge pretty successful solo careers. Liam has continued to plough that sort of pub rock furrow that Oasis sort of occasionally embodied. Noel has gone on with his High Flying Birds project, which is essentially him and some session musicians. He's crafted some quite interesting and more experimental music, quite commercial, not hugely successful because in terms of the chart positions and stuff like that. First couple of albums were big, but it sort of slipped away as that sort of music has become less attractive to downloaders and clickers and YouTubers and TikTokers who just want quick fixes of things. So yeah, it was quite interesting to hear that they were coming back. And as I said, I think there was now an inevitability to it. And I suspect that they've been building towards this for a year or so, rebuilding bridges and discussing what they were going to do. So anyway, these concert dates were announced. So there were two in Cardiff. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these massive multi-thousand-seater gigs. I find them a bit cold and a bit sterile and a bit hard to get involved with because you've got 70,000 people. The band, the artist is a dot on the stage in front of you, and you're there, you sort of get the atmosphere. And I suppose you're thriving from the atmosphere of it rather than the experience of sort of seeing the band or hearing the band to any degree. But I did go and see Coldplay last year. I'm a huge fan of Coldplay. I think Coldplay are sensational. I know that other opinions are available. They do seem a bit Marmite. People literally either love them or hate them. Some people find them smarmy. Some people find them cloying. I understand all that, but I just like the music. I think they craft intelligent pop music. So I went to see them last year, and it was a fantastic concert. In fact, I think I did a vlog on it way back there, if you're going to have a look at it, about a year or so ago. And it was a great concert. I went with some friends, and even at the time I thought, wow, I'm paying a lot of money to go and see a band, because we didn't really bother with the supporting band. We got there as their set was coming to an end, because it was Coldplay we wanted to see. And I remember thinking, wow, £150, that's a far cry from the days in the 80s when I used to go to concerts. 'Cause I used to go to a few concerts in the 80s. We had a few more venues around Cardiff then. I went to see people like Susie and the Banshees. I went to see Judas Priest, incredibly. Heavy metal band. I'm not particularly well known for my love of heavy metal, but I had a friend at the time who was into a lot of sort of metal stuff, and I quite liked some of the poppier stuff that Judas Priest did. And I remember coming out of that concert, and I'm sure my ears were bleeding because it was so loud. But those concerts, I'm sure the tickets were 15, 20 quid. But of course things have changed now. We've got these huge stadia where these performances are held. And because of the fact that recorded music doesn't make bands much money anymore, they make the money now from going on long, big tours and merchandise, and that's where the money comes from. So I understand that that's where the industry has taken things economically. For bands and artists to make money, they go on these huge tours, charge huge prices for all their merchandise, and the ticket prices go up. So Oasis dates were announced, and I thought, well, there's 2 dates in Cardiff, and I would quite like to see Oasis, because whatever you think of them, they've made an important footprint in sort of modern contemporary music. And they got some good tunes. And I thought, yeah, I'll see if I can get tickets. So I cast around with a few friends of mine who weren't hugely interested. One particular friend who I didn't think would be was interested. So I thought, right, I'll see if I can get us tickets. And I know the procedure, because last year when I got Coldplay tickets, I'd never done anything like this before. So I didn't log on to the ticket sites until just before 10 o'clock. I was lucky I was able to get tickets in about half an hour. I had a feeling it wasn't really quite so easy this time, so I got up at 8 o'clock. I didn't bother with Ticketmaster, because Ticketmaster for some reason won't recognise me. It thinks I'm a bot. So every time I go onto the site, or try to go onto the site, whether it's on my mobile phone or my laptop or any other device, it just tells me I'm suspicious and I'm a bot. Tells me to do this and do that, install JavaScript, delete that, can't be bothered. So I tried 2 other ticket sites, I think they're called, and Gigs, and I think it's called Gigs and Tours. So I registered for both, because you need accounts for these things. So I registered the day before. Yeah, 8:30, 8:45, I was there, and I got onto these sites, and there's a massive queue, huge demand for tickets today, but don't worry, you're being held in the queue, and we'll get you where you need to go as soon as you can. This page will refresh every 18 seconds. So I sat there, and it refreshed, and it refreshed, and it refreshed. By about 9:15, I thought, this isn't going to happen. This is not going to happen, is it? The C site, suddenly, it stopped refreshing, but it was sort of, the thing was turning. I thought, was it going to go onto the site? Am I going to get on there? And then it crashed. So I got back onto it, and again I was held in a queue, and held in a queue, and held in a queue. And I could see the way it was just going. And I know a lot of people out there, and you may have done it yourself, a lot of people stayed there all day, refreshing and refreshing, waiting and waiting. But I reckoned that by 9:30, 10 o'clock, if you hadn't got in, you hadn't got tickets, you weren't going to, because this is something that's going to sell out very quickly. So I think I gave it till about 10 o'clock. I kept one of the sites logged in on my mobile phone. I just went about my business, checked every now and again, held in a queue, we'll get you where you want to go. Didn't get in, didn't get tickets, is the upshot of that. Then transpired shortly afterwards, it's probably just as well, because a lot of people found that when they got onto these sites and bought their tickets, the prices had doubled, particularly on Ticketmaster. They just ramped the prices up, and that's what started to happen. So I think that even if I had got on, I was expecting to pay 100 to 150 quid for the tickets, because the baseline price, I think, was, 75 quid. But I was expecting, okay, it's going to be twice that. But it's, once in a lifetime thing. So I was prepared to sort of bite the bullet. But I think that a lot of people who got on suddenly discovered the tickets for £300, £400, sometimes even more than that. And I would have definitely have bought at that, because I'm sorry, you're talking about one night of entertainment, 2 hours entertainment, and that's just unjustifiable. Obviously, if you're a multimillionaire, it's a drop in the ocean. You can just throw it away. But most people, we're in a financial crisis in this country, and I don't think that people can actually afford this sort of money. Apparently they can, because the things have sold out. I suspect people's credit card bills have skyrocketed in the last week or so. So, yeah, in the end, I didn't get tickets. I don't know anybody who got tickets. And I'm glad I didn't get tickets, because the prices would have been intolerable and unjustifiable. And I wouldn't have wanted to pay £300. I couldn't have brought myself to do it because it's just too much. We've heard that the band are going to make gazillions from this concert too, which I'm sure is one of the reasons they're doing it. And good luck to them. Good luck to them. But what I don't agree with, I'm sure you've seen this narrative on many videos on YouTube, is the ticket resellers just suddenly deciding to up the prices, which are then the tickets are bought by touts and others. I mean, I've seen people online boasting about buying 4 tickets and then selling them for £1,000 each. Somebody else was saying they bought them and sold them for £6,000 each. First of all, don't know if I believe them. Second of all, if that is true, then the people who bought them at those inflated prices are part of the problem because they're making the problem. They're encouraging it. They're encouraging this behaviour. So I don't know what we do about it. I don't know how you can legislate for this and monitor this and police this and stop it happening and stop these ticket touts buying tickets and then selling them for stupid prices. Because if people are going to pay stupid prices, they will pay stupid prices on the basis that, yeah, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I don't mind putting myself into debt for years for the privilege. But it's hard to justify it. It's hard to tolerate it because I just think it's just ripping people off. It is, and I know these ticket companies need to make money, but I think that they go too far. They rip off honest, genuine fans who want to buy tickets to see people they like. And I'm sure it happens all across the musical arena when other artists, I mean, Taylor Swift, I know her tickets were quite difficult to get hold of. When you get these big tickets by these big names, it's not easy to get them. You're going to have to pay through the nose. But I think, particularly in the case of Oasis, I think this has really brought the whole topic to a head because the prices were so extreme. The hikes were so extreme and so unjustifiable. I think a lot of people have brought it to the wider and broader attention. And I hope that somewhere along the line, I know the government have made a comment about trying to do something about it. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you stop it. You stop it at the top. You stop the prices going up too high. But how you stop people who bought tickets then reselling them at stupid prices, that's a whole other issue. I think it's just something that happens and is going to happen. Personally, I won't get involved in it because I prefer to go to smaller concerts anyway. Luckily, there's a few venues around me that do hold sort of medium-sized concerts, and I've seen some decent turns there. I'm more into sort of comedy these days, seeing comedy performers, especially some of the classic, legendary sort of comics who tour and so on. So I've seen quite a few comedy gigs in some very nice, reasonably priced venues. And I wouldn't pay 200, 300 quid to see anybody, even Coldplay. I think £150 would be my limit. So anyway, that's my experience. Didn't get tickets. Very concerned about this whole issue of this price hiking from the resellers. It just seems unfair and money grabbing, but that's the world we're living in. Anyway, let me know your experiences. Did you get tickets? Were you interested in getting tickets? If you just don't like Oasis and think they're crap, that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. Let me know what you think of this whole issue of ticket price gouging. Right, thank you for watching. As I said, if you're new here, it's unusual for me to do a music type video. And I think this is a topic that's worth discussing, and I know lots of people have, so I've probably not said anything new. I've not added anything new to the debate, but I just wanted to talk about it and see what you think. So yeah, if you're new, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you don't mind. You know, it's no big deal, is it? Just pressing that button. I'll see you soon. Until I do, keep taking the stuff.